Hey, what's going on, guys? Heads here from Infinity Loops, and today we take a look at the Radiomaster Zorro. No, not that one.
What's happening, everybody?
Not that one either. That's the one. Zorro. So just first impressions right out of the box, I can say it is thicker radio than what I'm used to in the T-Lite. As far as like the handles and everything, this does just feel a bit bulkier in the hands. Not that that's a bad thing. The sticks do feel a bit further apart, maybe. Gimbal-wise, they do feel like they are a little further apart. I see it's got those little short, stubby throw switches. Looks like 2 ways on the bottom and triples on the top. I'm going to spend a week flying it. I'm going to use it every day in the sim and in my normal daily flying. I did get the ELRS version so that I should be able to use it with all my quads. The gimbals do feel nice. Somebody said that the stock gimbals on this felt better than on the T-Lite, and I do agree. Just at first, there's a weird whooshing sound when you move them. Alright, so I'm going to spend a week with this bad boy, and then I will report back in the next frame, right after this one. Things have escalated. It is now 2 weeks into using the Zorro. I've been using it with my daily flying in real life and in the sim, which I've put about, I think in the first couple days I put about 12 hours of flight time on this, and within the first couple days that gimbal started making some squeaking sounds like you're smushing a small rodent, and the throttle is still pretty noisy. On the up and down at least, not so much on the yaw axis, but I didn't change any of the tension in the radio. I didn't touch anything. I just wanted to fly it how it comes out of the box, how I like to try to do these reviews. And it is a little noisy after some time. Now I know there's ways to remedy this. I can lube them up and put stuff on them to get it to stop squeaking. I could try loosening the throttle a little bit, the tension, but you know, I just didn't want to do any of that. It came out of the box like this, so I just wanted to use it how someone would use it if they got it brand new. So, some things of note that I wrote down about the old Zorro here while I was using it over the last 2 weeks. Number one, I really do like Edge TX, and speaking of Edge TX, this nice big screen that it comes with. Not so much a fan of the placement of the screen, but the screen size and the display itself is very nice. These stock gimbals, as I mentioned, have become a bit squeaky, which makes it a little irritating to fly, especially if I'm not listening to any music, or if I'm flying on stream and my microphone is picking up the squeaks and then playing it back into my headphones. Oh, that throttle squeaking, squeaking, squeaking. You can just see how little I'm moving it to. Oh boy. These poor gimbals are gonna have a rough week, I tell ya. That's kind of a little distracting as well, and that might just be the reason why the mini AG01 gimbals exist, is to upgrade from these squeaky devils here and get some of the quieter mini AG01s like I have here on my T-Lite, which are very quiet, very smooth, very nice CNC gimbals. These are not the best, and like I said, just after a couple days of my usage, which to be fair is quite a bit of usage, but it's already squeaking really bad, and my stock T-Lite gimbals made it about, I want to say 8 months before they started doing that. So at least in my case, with my Zorro that I got here, the gimbals were a complete failure for me. You may have gotten a better set on yours or had just better luck with them. I'm actually pretty hard on my radios. I do fly them quite a bit, so that may have something to do with it as well. I'm also willing to take some of that blame. Moving on, I'm sure it's been said plenty, but I will just say it briefly. The battery life on this radio is awful. It is very bad. I bought an extra set of batteries because I had already been warned that the battery life on this was so bad, and I still found myself having to wait around while batteries charged for it. Speaking of the battery, there is no pass-through for the battery, which also kind of sucks. Normally, with my T-Lite, I can fly it at night in the simulator, and while it's plugged in to my computer, it'll charge up the internal battery, then I can take it out the next day and use it. However, with this one, while I'm in the middle of flying in the sim, I may have to stop, and go upstairs to get more batteries for it. Now, if any of you know me, I fly several hours a day in the sim and in real life, so having batteries that last that short was just not a lot of fun for me throughout the week. So as I mentioned, there are just buttons galore all over this. Assuming you can program these all to switches to do different things. I didn't use any of them. I'm kind of used to just the normal flicky switches. So yeah, like I said, a lot of these buttons I just didn't touch at all. But there are quite a few buttons on it. It is very riddled with buttons. Being a thumber, I kind of noticed that the gimbals were a little further apart than the T-Lite than what I was used to. That took a little adjusting, but once I got used to it, it was okay. I still don't prefer it. I still really like the range that I have. I feel like I have full range of motion on the T-Lite, whereas I feel a tiny bit limited on the Zorro, kind of like I have to lean in to really get to the far corners of some parts of the gimbal. I know I could probably change my hand position on that, but I just couldn't find a good mix to get comfortable. It's not a terrible radio, and it didn't take me too long to adjust to it. It's just the small things for me just didn't add up to being worth it versus the T-Lite. One of the big pluses for this was having that built-in Express LRS, but if I can't get used to the feel of the radio, it doesn't really matter if I have Express LRS or not. I'm not going to fly like normal if I can't get comfortable. So for me, it's going to be a pass on the Zorro, and not because it's a bad radio, just me personally, I had trouble adjusting to the grip on it and the gimbal spacing. But I don't think it's a bad radio, and like I said, I will keep it around for a spare, just in case. Please leave any questions or comments you may have down below, and make sure to tell me what your favorite or least favorite thing about the Zorro was as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one.